Oh no.
We both were like,
hey guys. And welcome back to another episode of Blondes Have More Fun.
woo! With Jordana and Janelle.
I was like, wait, I'm Jordana.
I'm Jordana. So this week we're gonna be talking dream jobs, worst bosses, people that you don't want to fucking work with.
Or
four, yeah. Past jobs and just jobs, just working.
Yeah.
Which I wish I didn't have to work every day. I get up. And
I feel that,
I
but
don't
honestly,
want to work.
like, I don't know. I will retire before the
Like retiring age,
which
yeah,
is exactly 65, and I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah,
like,
I don't want to be working
like
past
same.
50.
I would love to have. I guess that's like one of my dream jobs is to have like my own clothing line or something like that. So even if I was, you know, into my 50s and at that point I have like a stable company and a business, I would just like to manage that. You know what I
which
mean?
is so different. Like if it's your own business,
yeah,
that's different. But like I do not want to be I don't want to be working for anyone past like the age of 30. So
okay, that's 5 years, so I better hustle.
6 for me.
Okay.
But yeah,
I hear you though. It's like
I hate working for people.
Yeah, it's like you're making, like, obviously you make a paycheck, but like you are securing their company, their dreams, their life, their goals.
But yeah, I just want to, and that was a huge thing in February when I quit. One, I just wasn't happy where I was anymore.
Yeah.
But also I was like, I just want to work for myself because like I have my OnlyFans and my YouTube, and like it's just like wasn't where I needed to be yet.
Yeah.
And so, and also I was getting bored just being home all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Like every day I'd be ready by 2 because I would get up, go to the gym, my day would be done. I'd be done everything I need to do by 2 o'clock or 3, and then I'm okay, I'm totally ready, so I'm just gonna go to the bar now because I'm bored and I look good.
Socialize.
So I was just drinking every freaking day and like spending money and yeah. So hopefully by like 30, 35 I don't have to work for somebody, but
I agree. By then I want to have like
have something started at least. Like
I know, I wish I would have taken the time throughout COVID. I feel like I still was like trying to find parties, and like I had seen so many people through like TikTok making their own companies, and I was like, if we could go back. What are you looking for?
I just want to know where that fucking spider is.
Oh my god. But I wish that I would have like taken that, I guess, time more seriously. But looking back, like I was in Vancouver the first year. I did not work. I was living off my savings. Like I wouldn't have had the funds to kind of do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's never too late, and so I'm excited for this fall. Like that's kind of my goal for the down season, and
just to just like focus and
like build myself as a brand. Like it's something that I've wanted to do for so long, and I feel like I'm the only one standing in my way. Like I have the different types of avenues and the resources where I could do it. I just like don't know why.
I'm the exact same way, and like I keep saying this, but I'm like the most motivated person.
Yes.
Like I want to do so many things. My issue is I want to do so many things. Like I love working in bars. I want to have a bar. I love makeup. I want to have my own freaking like makeup thing, like makeup brand, and also I want like my OnlyFans to take off, which is a whole other thing.
And like
modeling. And so I'm just like, there's so many things that I want to do and that I'm passionate in, where I'm just like, I don't even know where to start. And then I've also thought about what I went to school for, which is skincare, makeup, and all that. And I'm like, maybe I should start and rent a little place and start my own, like not salon, but like little like a rental, like a little rental, and just a room and like a spa or something, and do like waxing, facials, all that. And there's just so many things I want to do, and I get up and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be productive, and I'll literally sit on the couch and I'm like, okay, I need to go to the gym. I need to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Just get up and go. And I'll like watch workout videos, and I'm like, I know, like I keep telling myself, I'm like, get up and go. And I just like sometimes just like can't push myself to do it.
Yeah.
And like even Val, he's like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And I'm like, I want to do it, and like that's something where I'm like, I keep saying I need to go see like a therapist or like a for like your brain.
Like a psychiatrist.
Yeah, psychiatrist. Like I keep saying I need to do it, which I still haven't. because like just like the way my brain works, and that's totally what's holding me back, is because I think I want to do so many things, and like
that's not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing, and but like when I do something, which is like one thing I got from my dad for sure, is like work ethic, because it's just like he would just like work, and like you put everything that you have into it. And so that's the thing, is I want to put everything I have into 6 fucking things, and then people are like, oh, why aren't you posting on OnlyFans? Okay, well, it's because I'm at Parlor now, and now I want to be at the best that I can be at Parlor, so that they see that I'm a good fit, and so then I can move up, and then that can bring me closer to my bar dream job, and like doing that. And then it's just like it's so hard. Many things, and we just keep adding them on. I'm like, bring in the podcast, let's do it. And I'm just like, fuck, like I want to do so many things, and like I just want,
I feel like you could use like a life coach, maybe not necessarily a life coach, but like someone that has more of a business background that can like guide you to those first steps of like getting those things like up and going. And I feel like that's something that like I would benefit from too.
I just need to decide what I want to go with, you know. Like I can't be starting 5 things at once.
I will support every fucking dream of yours.
I know, and I'm just like,
I know, I feel like it almost becomes like discouraging, like for me in a sense, like seeing so many people like successful with like their mini clothing brands, or like being like what's it, like an influencer, you know. It's like I want to do those things, but for me it's like sewing takes a lot of time, which I mean I never had enough of, but it's like I feel discouraged because I'm like, there's so many people that are already so successful out there doing that, like what sets me apart? But it's like the day that we live in, I mean, it's totally possible, just I gotta do it.
It's just you have to look into the steps to get like me to like figure out what you need to do. First step to do, I think that's like the hardest thing, is like to start, especially a company. It's like, Kate, what's the first thing I even do?
It's like overwhelming.
How do I even start this? And
I think though,
just,
like
it like makes you kind of unmotivated, because you're like, it's just so much. You're like, I don't even know where to begin.
So it's like, I know, same with you. It's like my mind just like races, and I get excited about these things, but then I get discouraged because I'm like, it feels like it's so out of arm's reach, like, you know. So that's like my goal this fall, is to like seriously focus on me, like not, I mean, you're really the only person I hang out with anyway, but like I don't, you know, people that like aren't benefiting my future for the better, like I just cannot, like my time is valuable. And so sorry, I feel like I need to like hang around someone that has started their own business, and like not, you know, just like learn off them, not use them.
Out with me.
Right. I'm like, no,
get out of here.
Like every time like I do, like I watch your YouTube and stuff, I'm like, fuck, like I want to do that, you know what I mean? Like, and I can do that, and like I have the support system for it. It's just it's hard. It's hard. Yeah, it's the start.
And it's too, because to start something, you obviously need money, and so we have to work other jobs to be able to start ours. So it's like, okay, now I'm putting all my time into someone else's company, trying to save up so I can make my own company. But then it makes me not have time to start my own company, and it's like this freaking whole thing. And it's like, okay, there is time. Like the other night, I got home from work, I ended up working so late. I got home and I was up until like 4 in the morning uploading the fucking podcast so that I could be up for Saturday, because I'm like, this is the only day that I have, and because I had to work way later because someone called in sick, and I'm like, now I don't have time to do
what
my things. And so then I'm up all night. That day I had to open, and I got like 3 hours of sleep. But it's just like, I feel like we have to accept that we're gonna have to have like those nights or those days where 100%. You don't get sleep, because you have to find, sometimes there's not really a balance, because starting off we have to work for someone else to be able to even start our own thing. So,
and I remember like when I first got hired with Cactus, in my interview I asked just for Mondays off, because I made that the day to like work on my personal brand, and I think I just like, I need to stick with that. Like I do have availability for Monday evenings, but that just like takes away, you know, I think I need that one set day that like we film, and then I do like whatever on the side. And so
because we always film early, and so then you have the whole rest of the day to go and
I'm already
do whatever
ready
you want to put into your business or to your brand and everything like that. And so I know I was thinking, I'm like, okay, I like working Sundays, but usually I work Sunday night, and then Monday morning I'm gonna be up at fucking 5 in the morning to go to work. So I'm gonna get no sleep, so I'm gonna probably take Sunday out of my availability, which
you need a day
I'll need anyways, because I know I'm like trying to mentally prepare for the fact that I'm only working like 6 to 7 days a week. And like I know for like a lot of people who work in like camp or like work constantly, but it's like when you don't is a huge
it's an
change.
adjustment, yeah.
And especially because it's like such a different job too. Like, I don't know.
You're going
I'm
from
getting
serving
nervous.
to overalls.
I'm getting nervous.
Yeah.
Tearing shit
the money
apart.
will be good. I mean, like I wasn't so much into like demolition and stuff like that, but like when I worked construction for Tim, I mean, it was hard, but the paycheck is rewarding. Like, you know, it's like, whoa. But then again, it's like, okay, I was making, I don't know, about $3,000 every 2 weeks, but then almost $1,000 comes off for tax. And I'm like, go back yourself.
I know. And yeah, I know it'll be good. And I know I'll be good at it because I just like
you said, you have a good work ethic, you know.
And like I'll give it my all, but I am nervous.
Totally, I hate starting new places.
Yeah, I constantly think about, especially now, like I feel like it used to be not easy for people to retire, but
it did.
It did.
Like,
and so now I always constantly think into the future, and I'm like, fuck, I don't have a retirement fund started. I'm like, I just want to be able to, like, the last thing I want to be is when I go to restaurants, and I fucking hate it. I hate it when I see old people serving, and it's like, I don't know if maybe they're just doing that because they're bored at home and they need a social life, but I don't want to be in that position because I have to be. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to be going to work at a grocery store or something when I'm 50.
No.
That's the last thing. Like, my goal is, one, for the lifestyle I want to live, and just, I know I can be and I know I will be, but like I need to be successful, and I will be, because that's just like the life I want to live, and I'm not doing it any other way. No. Like, I will be successful, I'll be fucking traveling, I'll have a business
100%.
but I just like, that's my one thing I think about all the time. I'm like, oh my god, I need to like start getting this in plan. And like, I'm only 23, about to be 24. I know I have so much time, but it does not feel like it's that much time. And people always say, don't worry, you have so much time, you're young. And it's like,
time goes by
so fucking quick.
And it's like, again, to me, discouraging, because you see people that are our age that have what seems like everything. I know. You know what I mean? A house.
Shout out Tamara. You're killing it. Like, when I see Tamara, I'm like, holy fuck. Like, she's fucking killing it.
Yeah, but see, it's like, I'm sure she was nervous, and like, I'm not even sure. Like, I know everyone to start like such a big like financial investment, but like, you know, now she, like, I'm sure works her own hours, and like she's building a brand for herself, and she's so young. So like, in 10-15 years from now, like, she'll be able to expand in any way that she wants. We need to do a lunch and like literally go through, write down like the things that we want, and like this all, let's like stick to it, like hold ourselves accountable.
I know, and especially if we're like on the same page too.
And then next summer we won't be working. We'll be traveling.
Flying around.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. It's so stressful. Like, money, obviously, that's just like, I feel like that's everyone's biggest stress.
Whoever says money does not make you happy,
you're lying.
Is lying, because
you're lying.
Anytime I've been like financially stressed, I'm fucking miserable.
I know.
I'm like stressing. I'm like, you know, it's just like, it brings out the worst in me. Like,
and like, if I have $1 million and I'm depressed, I'll be depressed on my private plane or in Italy or something, you know, where it's like, okay, it doesn't feel that bad here. But when I'm depressed and I have no money and my credit card's racked the fuck up, I'm really fucking sad.
I'm stressed.
Like,
it's like, I'm going
so
to work
stressed.
to like literally, it's like, what is the purpose?
And so I just, I fucking hate that, and I'm so mad at myself because I had my credit card paid off and I fucking racked it up again like a fucking idiot, and then it was just at the limit, and so I was like getting the overage charges, and so then they're like, oh, do you want to put your limit up? I'm like, okay, let's put the limit up so I don't go like have the overage charges, but then I just put something on my credit card, or my bills come out of my credit card, and then now it's like back to maxed out again, and I'm just like, it's so fucking stressful. And that's why I can't save, is because everything that I have goes to bills, and then the rest goes on my credit card, but it's a vicious circle because then interest comes out, and then your bills come out, and so the $500 that I just put on just came back,
and
2 days later,
$200.
and now, exactly. So I'm just like, it's just like this vicious circle, and just adds so many things, and so like, I need to get the first thing I need to do, like my main goal is getting my credit card paid off. That's why I'm doing construction, that's why I'm like adding another job, is so I can just get my finances under control. then all that extra money I'm making can just be savings, which then goes into business, because right now, like, no way I could start a business unless someone's gonna fund me. So if you want to fund me, call me.
Yeah, me too.
Beep, beep, beep.
Literally.
1-800, give me fucking money. But no, it is really stressful, but I feel like we're both like very goal oriented, and even if it takes us like a little bit to get there, or like being like discouraged and stuff like that, I know that we're gonna do it.
100%. I
You know
know
what? We're gonna be traveling together one day. We're gonna be
making the best memories,
gonna be
living the
fucking-
life.
not partying, but we're gonna be
We'll
living.
be like living bougie. Like we'll be like partying but bougie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No. But I mean, I feel like back to like our jobs now and like in the past, like what's been like your worst job, horrible bosses, like good bosses?
Good boss, like I think the best boss I ever had was Alan when I worked at Moxie's in Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
He was just
Shout out Alan.
Shout out Alan. But he was fucking great. Moxie's was really fun to work at.
Yeah.
And management does make a difference, because when Alan
100%.
left and we had different management, I also left at the same time because that's when I moved here.
Yeah.
But everyone who still worked there that I was friends with, they were just like texting me all the time. And
He
like, it's a
he
shit
left
show.
because he really big.
It's we literally left at the exact same time, which actually just happened at the dime too. We left at the exact same time. But it was just a shit show for a little bit. So management does totally matter.
You learn that in business school too.
Because
like, actually they do mention that.
Yeah, and then when I worked at the Moxie's here, when I moved here, I was like, oh, perfect, I already know the menu. Management sucked. It was just like, I was like, I fucking hate it here. And I thought I was gonna love it, and it was like, unreliable, wrong. I haven't had any like crazy horrible bosses. Like when I worked at the nightclub for 2 weeks because
sounds like my nightclub experience.
The management was so shit.
Yeah.
It was just such a fucking shit show.
Was it at the same place on Granville?
No. Mansion.
Oh, okay.
Terrible. Like just, it was so bad.
Unorganized.
Like just the unorganized. The one girl that I work with now, she was there for a little bit, and when she went to quit, or she had already quit, and she was going to pick up her tips, we were waiting for money that we had made that night, cash money that we should have got that night. It was being taken to make sure that cash was right.
Yeah. Did you ever get that?
Never even got it at this point.
And
I don't even give a fuck. I don't even give a fuck at this point. It's so far past. She didn't even fire me, nothing, just took me out of the group chat. I went to go in the group chat and it was like, oh, you've been removed from the boss. Doesn't even tell me I'm fired, nothing, which I was gonna quit anyway, so I didn't actually care that I didn't have to go through like the conflict. But I could totally, if I wanted to, go to like BC, work, whatever, and like and like fuck you over. Also
100%.
So inappropriate. Like we had a huge staff meeting and she, like our boss, the GM, is literally telling us to like be hot and go promote the club and like get people in, and like she's like, go on the beach and show your tits, your dicks, and like stuff like that. I'm like, where is HR right now? Because this is fucked. Like you're literally telling us to go and like promote this club by like being like sexual or like being naked, and it's not a fucking strip club, it's just a regular nightclub.
I was gonna say, that's not their image anyway.
That's
so
like,
that's desperate.
And then one of the other managers, which I fucking hate him, you know who I'm talking about, fucking hate him, so rude.
You gotta be quicker.
Yeah, you need to be faster. I'm like, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face.
Yeah, seriously.
Terrible, I fucking hate him. But he literally at this staff meeting said in front of everyone that he wanted to like fuck this one door guy. Like literally calls out this door guy for being like super hot and like saying that he would sleep with him in front of all the staff. The owner of the club, who's also a fucking pervert. It was my first or my second weekend. No, it was my training shift. And he comes up and he's like grabbing my hip and like whispering in my ear.
When you were in the bar.
I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like comes behind the bar when we're trying to like we're super busy, and is like groping me and just disgusting. And then like the GM, she wasn't mean or anything like that, or she just wasn't good at her job. But back to like the tip thing, she went in to get her tips after she quit, And she told me, she's like, no wonder they never can find our tips, or our tips are never ready. She opened a filing cabinet and said it was just loose money with random like sticky notes with names and dates on it. And it was the most unorganized thing. And so I don't even know if I ever even got tips, but it was like 3 weeks to get tips.
Yeah,
and that were ready that night. Like, it wasn't a due back, like we made the cash that night.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, we want to make sure cash is good, or the cash looks okay, or whatever, everything matches, so we'll take it, divvy it up, which also is shady as fuck.
100%.
And so, like, where I work now, like, if there's cash at the end of the night, you take that cash home. They're not keeping it.
No. Mm-mm.
And then if there's a due back, you get it the next day, or like 2 days later.
Yeah.
There's no fucking around like that. And so it was just like kind of shady, like super unprofessional, and just so many HR problems, which like the owner before, for like all those clubs, because it's not just one club, like it's like a group of them. I'm pretty sure he had like a bunch of lawsuits for being a fucking pervert, and it's gonna be the exact same thing with the new guy. Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, and the fact that they can like get away with that.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah.
And they definitely have, like, there's like the favorite girls, like the bottle service girls, which, like, honestly, if you're a favorite, good for you. I was not a favorite, and I don't know why. I think it was because I was a bartender. Like, the bottle service girls just like get treated different than like the other staff, which kind of pisses me off, because you literally take care of one table all night.
Like, your job's that hard.
You literally take care of one table all night, and they sit there and drink with them, and they're vaping, you're partying with them. Like, I've literally looked at tables, and the people who bought the bottle are pouring their own drinks. The girls aren't even doing it. They're literally just partying with them.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and they're getting tipped out like crazy, because there's grats on every bottle, but bartenders, there's no like automatic tip included, and people are just tapping their cards, and so like bartenders are making no money. And it was just like all around, I think that was the worst place I've ever worked at. The worst place.
Yeah, that's brutal. I know, I don't think I ever heard you say like one good thing about it.
No, like from the start to the end, everything was terrible.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like, I was there for two or 3 weeks and said fuck it.
Yeah, no, like legit, when you have a bad boss, it's just like you don't even want to like do anything.
Yeah. And it's not even the bad boss, it was just like it was everybody, like, the other managers. There was one manager that I liked, she was awesome, and actually like wasn't
horrible,
an idiot. And even when I see her now, like, she comes into parlor and she's like, I'm so sorry that happened. Like, she was like the only one that was organized, and like every night she was the one who was sober, and like the other two were wasted, and all of us have done our cash out and we're ready to go, and it's been an hour and we're waiting for them to print off the last thing and check our stuff, but they're wasted. And she was the only one who was like, I'm also trying to get the fuck out of here.
Like,
so she's like, I'm sorry that happened. I'm like, it's fine. I started at parlor at the same time, and so I was like, this is where I want to be anyways. It's more my thing. I just wanted to try out bartending at a club because it's fast paced, not like a lot of cocktails and stuff. But
and it's just terrible. That sucks. I know. I'm like, I don't know if I would ever like enjoy bartending, but I also haven't tried it, so I don't want to like knock it. But
bartending stresses me out. The only reason I started bartending was because when I was working at the Dime, I was managing and I was working by myself. So I was bartending, serving, and managing. It was just me. And that's the only reason. And it took me a long time to memorize the drinks. Like, that's one thing for me. It takes me a long time to remember that shit.
Yeah, I know, because it's like 1/8 and this and that. And like, you know, I'm just like, oh my god. So I always like props to the bartenders, but I mean, serving is no easier. Like, you know.
But serving is just my thing. Like, I'm like a people person, and I know you're still like that behind the bar, but it's different because you're with one section. The bar has their bar top, and they're making drinks for everybody else in the bar. And especially at parlor, like their drinks there, it would take me fucking forever to learn. So
it's stressful.
Like the bartenders at parlor are fucking awesome, and like you need to be so
on top.
But I just like, that's the only reason I started bartending, and that's why I tried out the club, because I'm like, okay, I don't have to make any crazy cocktails. Like, it's just highballs or beer or wine or shots. Like, it's super easy stuff, and that's the only reason I did it. And I was like, it's just not for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, but I don't know.
I mean, I haven't had many like horrible bosses, but same thing when I was living in GP. My first serving job, I don't want to say he was like, I don't know, like he wasn't ever bad to me, but he definitely had favorites, and like he just sat in the same booth every night and like drank beer and like watched the girls, and like, I mean, I guess he kind of was like a bit twisted because like you had to have a certain look to be in. Oh, I thought you broke me out.
No, I just accidentally pushed that out.
No.
Oh no.
You had to have like a certain look to be in the lounge, and like if you didn't wear heels, lounge. If you wore pants, lounge. Like, you had to be in a dress or in a skirt, and so like it was just, yeah, you had to have a certain look. To be fair, I feel like it was really hard for him to keep servers because yes, we drank on the job like everybody did, and so like he just like didn't put up with anybody's shit. Like if you called in and like, that was the thing, is like if you called in from being hungover, the girls that you went out with the night before, they were like pissed that you wouldn't show up, and they'd be like, oh, we were out drinking last night. Like they'd throw you under the bus.
Yeah.
And so what he did, he would just white you off, and like literally you'd be checking your schedule for the next week and you'd be like, girl, you got whited out tonight, like you're done.
Yeah.
Don't show up. Like, and you would be like, you'd get like banned, like you'd be banned for a month. And it was like,
which like honestly in a way is kind of good because then it's like you don't put up with this
exactly.
shit, because
so that's what I mean. I feel like I'm like, oh, you know what I mean, but I never got whited out because I actually walked out on the business twice and still got hired back.
Really?
I got hired back 3 different times.
Yeah.
And so like the third time though, like I generally like apologized and I was like, look, I'm moving to Vancouver, like I give me one more chance, like I'm not into the partying scene and yada yada. And so he did hire me back, and I left on a good note with my 2 weeks, and he wished me the best. And so like if I ever go back and visit, I always do say hey, and like I think just like my looks show that I'm like, I'm well and doing well.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. And because when you were working there, that's when you're partying and drinking
and drinking. And
yeah, it is. It's hard not to drink in the service industry. Like when I was working with warehouse, you were not allowed to drink on shift, and I legit until my very last week, and I worked there for almost 5 years, did not drink on shift. I had like, I think when I worked at warehouse and with my GM, she's not there anymore, I had a couple shots with her in the bathroom because I was literally with my GM, and she's like, oh, come have a shot. I'm like, well, you're my boss, so I can't get a shot.
Yeah,
let's do it. But like at Parlor right now, no one's allowed to drink because people are getting a little wild.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, there's always people who ruin it. So we have a 2-shot max, because if you have a table who wants to buy you a shot, of course they're gonna say yes. You just have to check with the manager, they're gonna say yes, and you're only allowed to have two or three shots. And which I think is good. That puts me on a level where I'm just like chatty, fun, like just feeling good, just in a good mood.
Totally.
But some people get fucking wasted, and then you're just like, you look like trash. People can't even like, you're fucking up your cash out, you're fucking up orders. Your tables know that you're drunk, which like for me, I can't even work drunk, so no way that's happening. But right now we're on like a drink break until I think October, because people were getting a little bit too
just like
crazy.
Abusing their privilege,
because people used to be able to work at warehouse, they used to be able to drink and everything, and everyone was just getting so fucked up that they're like, okay, now if you get caught drinking, like you're gonna be, they said fired, but oh my god, to get fired from there, you literally had to like kill your staff. It was actually,
or just like quit.
It was insane. Like you just would not get fired.
That's crazy. See, like now, like I would never like drink at work, and I honestly don't think that anybody does, but after work, it's kind of like, it's normal to like go sit at the bar, have a drink or two, and like it's fine. But also I would never want to go to work drunk at a Cactus setting. No.
It's so, I just, one, I don't want to look bad, and also I just don't, like, I feel like I would I would forget what I'm doing or something.
100%, yeah.
And fuck, what was I gonna say? I can't even remember. Oh yeah, but I was trying to not drink, and I was doing good, and then I started at Parlor, and it was a training shift, I think, and they were like, oh, do you want a shot of tequila? And because some guy at the bar was buying a shot, and I was like, no, that's okay. And the bartender literally looked at me, and she's like, no, you're gonna have one, like it's Clase Azul, it's like a $60 shot, you're gonna have it. And I was like, okay, give me the shot. Like, I'm not gonna say no to a fancy tequila the second time, but like, you know what I mean?
If she's gonna get the tip on that,
right? And like we all tip pool, which is awesome, but like I'm like, fuck, I'm trying not to drink, and it's just like, no, you're gonna have one. And
I mean, that's chill. I wouldn't be like opposed to it if that was like allowed, but it's not, so I'm like, I respect that. Like
I'll have a couple at night, and it's because I'm allowed to, but like I know my limit, and I won't go over it, because one, I want them to like see me as like a valuable employee that they don't want to get rid of, or like that they want to move up, because I made it really clear at orientation. I'm like, look, I have goals, I've managed in the past, like I want to do that.
And
I want to be able to move up here because moving up in parlor would be freaking amazing.
Yeah, I think so. And like coming from a place, you obviously quit because they didn't like honor your.
Yeah, they told me I was gonna be moving up and I was gonna be doing all this stuff, and then that never happened. Like the amount of meetings I had with regionals and oh yeah, you're gonna be this, you're gonna be that, and then it just like never happening. I'm like,
never happened.
Okay, so yeah. Which also, I still left on a good note because I quit.
Yeah.
And like I love going there. The people have changed a lot, so like I don't go as often, but like I still do love it there, and like I left on a good note, which I think all my jobs I did leave on a good note, which is nice. Like Moxie's in Grand Prairie, I left only because I was moving here.
Yeah. I mean, like, jobs that I had when I was like,
I didn't have to quit. I didn't technically get fired. She just took me out of the thing. The dime, I quit and was on a good note with that. And
I think that's just like who I am, though. I'd feel like I would feel guilty if I didn't, you know, like I mean, I had my very first job. It was like garage. It was summertime. Like,
you worked at garage?
Yeah.
Really?
It was like my first job. I actually met Amanda Sauberwald there.
Really?
Yeah, and she was like obviously a couple years older than me, but
that's so funny.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Anyways, it was like summertime. I was like going into grade 10 or something, and I just stopped showing up. Like I just didn't care. I didn't have that same responsibility or work ethic, but
and it's different when you live at home and all that. It's like I can't just stop showing up for work right now.
Absolutely not. But like for me, like when I quit at Nordstrom, same thing. I gave my 2 weeks in, and like my manager gave me a hug, and like 3:30, just so you know. Yeah. Okay. She gave me a hug, and like, you know, I got a couple cupcakes, and it was super nice. But like I think to date, she's been the best manager that I've had. Like she's always heard me out. Like I've never not gotten time off. Like she knew that I had family in Alberta, and so she always gave me time off for that. And like it was just, she was very warm, and she was sweet, and it was like she was a real person, and like took the time to hear you out with any like personal problems, or like, you know, she was there for you. And so I mean, yeah, she was the best manager I ever had. You know, even if I go in and visit now, she gives me a hug, and like so yeah, I mean, management
so
definitely
nice.
makes all the change.
It really does.
I mean, all my managers now, I really enjoy. One, she's like a little bit intimidating, but she's nice. Like, you know, she's
and there's
nice
a difference between being intimidating and being a shitty manager.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know,
all my managers are very strong. They're very chill. Like they're super nice, and same thing.
That's the same with, was that the spider?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's a spider. It looks like a beetle.
No, it is a spider. It's a really small one.
Yeah.
That's the same with parlor. Like everyone at parlor, all the girls that I work with, all the guys that I work with, like thinking off the top of my head, I still feel like there's so much staff there that I haven't even met.
Yeah.
But everyone I have met and worked with, like I really enjoy working with, and like all the managers are really good. And one thing I appreciate, because I've never worked anywhere where you can actually like call in sick.
Yes.
Like for working at the dime or warehouse, it was just like, if you don't find anybody, you're coming in, which I totally get it.
Yeah.
But
and it was
there's
a lot
been,
smaller too.
there's no staff. And also I was a manager, so when I have opens, there was like 2 other people who could take that shift.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to do cash or be able to work by yourself. And so I didn't even have options for people to take my shifts.
Yeah.
And I've, like with parlor, I've had some, like when I fucked up my foot, obviously they weren't gonna schedule me.
Yeah.
But it was like no problem, whatever. And when I've been sick or like not feeling good, and I'm like, hey, I honestly, like I can't come into work. And if I'm like sick, I'll call in. If I'm not feeling like all right, if I'm feeling like a little bit shitty, like I'll still go in. But like if I'm calling in, I'm like legit, like something's wrong.
Yeah.
And it's always like, no problem, we'll figure it out. And I always go through like a list of people I work with trying to get my shift covered.
Yeah.
And if no one can, I'll like call management or text them. I'm like, look, like I've literally tried everybody. And it's always different when you ask and then when managers ask. Like if a manager calls me and it's like, hey, can you please come in? I'm probably gonna say yes, but if I call someone and be like, can you please take my shift, they're gonna say no. And so they're like really good about calling in sick. And even the one day to Stacy, because I was gone for a whole week, and I was like, thank you so much, I'm really sorry that you had to get my, like, figure out a shift, because she had to figure out like 4 shifts for me because I was so sick. And she's like, no, it's okay, like I always tell the girls, don't be afraid to call in, like you can't do anything about it if you're sick.
People don't not get sick.
Like so they're really good about that, which sucks because I feel like when companies or businesses are good about that, there's the people who take advantage of it.
For sure, yeah.
And then like right now we don't have to do doctor's notes or anything like that, but there's been so many people calling in. Like this whole week I've got to work early and had to stay way later than I was supposed to because there's like 3 people who called in for that day.
Yeah.
And they are like short staffed. And so I feel like it's getting to a point where it's so many people doing it, they're gonna be like, okay, you need a doctor's note or you need something. Because when COVID first started and you couldn't go in because it was like, even if you had a cough or something, they're like, don't come into work. You would send your COVID test and like the results and everything like that, but they don't check anything, which is nice. But at the same time, there's been so many people calling and I feel like that's gonna change because it's like people trying to get their shift covered the day before and no one covers it, and then the next day they call in.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like
obviously you just like need that day off for whatever reason. I know. It's actually kind of funny that people, we have like a work chat on Facebook and people will literally be like, $20, $50 to take my shift, and I'm like, okay, so
someone offered $300 to take your shift.
$100.
I was gonna take it. I was already working the day, and it was for that night. I was like, fuck it, I'll take it. And then somebody said yes before me, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I know, but that's crazy to me. Like, but yeah, when I was sick with laryngitis, like I called in and like I did provide them. Literally, I had no voice. But I gave them a doctor's note. And, like, I remember I still wasn't like fully well, and I tried to go in and like my manager, she like got someone to cover my section. I got to leave a couple hours early, and I told her I felt bad. You know, I'm still pretty new to the company, and like same thing, I want to be taken seriously, and like I want them to see only good things. And so she's like, your health comes first. Like, this place will run with or without you. Like, take care. And so
and that's the thing.
Always been so good.
Is I feel like a lot of managers or bosses like do not think that way. No. Like, it's just like company first, this first. It's I seen a meme, and it was a girl that was like upset because her boyfriend broke up with her through text, and the boss is like, oh, that's why you don't check your phone at work, like that kind of shit, you know?
Like, it's like, oh, it's too bad.
Just don't give a fuck. But no, it's actually nice having that, being able to even like have that option and not have to worry. Because I like when I have to call in, like I get so stressed out before even calling in. Like I'm like typing the text or like about to call, and I'm like waiting to start the call or send the text, and I'm like, no, should I just like wait a little longer? I'm like, no, I have to do it. Like,
I know, right? I'm like,
I hate it. I know.
I know, I'm like, and then the phone dings, and I'm like, but no, honestly, I'm happy with where I'm at right now. Obviously, like money, everything, like management, super good. So yeah, managers totally like make or break.
They do.
The workplace.
Totally. Ooh, I feel like before we finish up, we should answer that question you got, which is, would you go back to school, or have you thought about going back to school? Which have you? I totally have. I've
thought about going back to school only because like when I first finished high school, I wanted to play like college soccer. So then I started taking business courses, and like I feel like that's obviously like you can utilize towards anything. And then I moved here to go to fashion school, but I feel like it's hard to make a career in fashion. So yes, I've definitely thought about going back to school. And I think maybe like real estate or like a legal aid. Those are like the two things that kind of like I see myself like waking up in the morning, and like that's just like kind of how I see my life. Like anything to do with like medical just does not interest me. Like my mom, I don't even know how she does her job, but like my boyfriend's mom's like, oh, why don't you be like an x-ray tech or something like that? And to me it just like doesn't interest me at all.
Yeah, I know. I really thought, even when I was living in Grand Prairie, I actually did a day with a real estate agent. And like kind of like was with them all day because I was really thinking about it. And when I moved here, I really wanted to do real estate too. And then I was like, oh, maybe I should like do car salesman or something like that, because like so many people here, like especially in Vancouver, like luxury vehicles
are huge.
And so I thought about that a lot, and the real estate, and that's like another thing I wanted to do too. But I've been thinking about going back to school for like psychology, because like anything to do with like the brain and the mind and like all of that is so interesting to me. Like really psychopaths and like all that kind of stuff. Like the book that I'm reading, just like he spent 7 years working in like a high maximum security prison, interviewing and doing like tests on psychopaths or inmates to find out who is a psychopath. And I'm like, oh my god, that would be like it is really so interesting. But I also think back to when I was in high school, how I fucked myself over because I hated school and I didn't want to be there. So I did the bare minimum of everything. So for me to do that, the amount of fucking upgrading I would have to do and the amount of years I would have to spend, which I know that if I start school right now and I'm in school for 5 years, at the end of it I would come out and I would be 5 years older and I would be something.
Yeah.
Because so many people are like, oh well, I'm this age, so I'm this age, I don't want to go back to school. But it's like, okay, but you're gonna be that age anyways in 5 years, so why don't you have something else? And so like I don't think about it like that, but I just think my dad paid for all of our colleges and our university, but I already got that, you know what I mean? So I'm like, fuck, if I go back the second time, like that's on me. And just like back to the whole money thing, and the last thing I want to do is owe fucking school loans plus a credit card. And then
me right now.
So I'm just like, I have thought a lot about going back to school, but that's just the thing, is like I have so many interests. It's like it just loops back around to like what we first started talking about. Like I want to do real estate too. I freaking think that's so interesting, or like any like stuff like that, and I feel like I'd be so good at it because I am a people person, and just like also the whole aspect of getting to like dress nice every day 100%. And like I just like go into the office, and it's just a whole different pace than what I've ever done. And then just like thinking about like the psychology and all of that kind of stuff, like that's so interesting to me. And through school, like I loved law in high school. I took law, and I also took psychology, like just general psychology, and those two things were so interesting to me. I know if I really tried and like put time into it, for sure I could be a lawyer.
100% you could.
But
that's 8
that's a lot. And so I think I would enjoy psychology and all of that more. But those classes in school, I really like, those are my favorite things. And
I mean, I feel like
I just have too many interests. I have too many things I want to do.
No, me too. I mean, I feel like even if you were to take like one psychology course this fall or something, you know what I mean, you'd learn a little bit more about it and see if that's like an avenue you want to go down. But I know, same, I haven't even finished paying off my Blanche tuition, so for me to go to school again. But I even thought about going back there for doing like their marketing program. So like some of their courses like kind of overlap with like the fashion design program, so I wouldn't have to take like a full course because I've already taken some of those courses. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, ever since I was little, I've always wanted to do something with fashion. I think it's just the matter of like, even like I was talking to my mom the other day, and she's like, anything that's like rewarding is not easy. Like, no, she went back to school at probably 45, and it took her about a good 5-6 years to upgrade and then do her whole nursing program. But now she's a registered nurse. Like,
even my stepmom, she just went back and she just finished her courses, and it's never too late. No, it's never too late. And it's just like, it's just a scary step. But I read something the other day, and it was like, when you're at your most scared, that's when you need to like actually do it, because it's like when you're standing on top of like a super high thing and you're gonna jump in water or whatever, like if you just keep standing there, you're not gonna do it. You're gonna psych yourself out. So it's like when you feel that scared feeling, that's good. That's when you need to jump and do it. And like I keep telling myself that, and I'm still fucking standing on the ledge, like looking over. I'm like,
I know.
Oh wait.
I know. That's my thing. Is like, oh, there is no perfect time. Like I'm waiting for that like perfect moment, and it's like, there'll never be a perfect moment, you know?
No, we have to stop waiting for that. I know I was talking about that with Jada too, and I'm just like, there's no perfect time. We just have to do it.
Do it.
We just gotta do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Fuck yeah. Well, I think that wraps it up.
Totally, yeah.
Sweet. Also, episode 10 is coming up, which we're gonna do a chill. We're gonna kind of do what we did episode 5, chill, fun, laid back one. But we're gonna be having some drinks and doing
like
questions, assumptions. So just we're getting questions and everything like that's
kind of
set up for that episode. So start sending them in, because we're gonna rack them up, because it's gonna be a whole episode of answering your questions or assumptions, confessions.
Yeah.
And we have like the private app, so you can send it all anonymous and everything like that. So just click the link on the Blondes Have More Fun Instagram if you want to send any questions or anything like that. Also, maybe we can do like a little like never have I ever drinking game or something.
100%.
We just want to do it fun. Each little
milestone.
5 episodes, just do a little fun, chill episode. But yeah, I think that's all for today. Let us know your worst bosses or worst jobs or dream jobs, all of that. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Ooh, where's my thing? Bam.